when green, eh? You better when green, eh? You better when green, eh? Listening to cash out, that's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spot from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Zed, shout out to Ben. Welcome to our podcast.
Guys, welcome into Green Live. This is Ben here. I'm with Ethan, and today Zach's out, so we brought in the one and only Wyatt, Mr. Worst Bets on Twitter. Wyatt, how's it going, man? We're happy to have you.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. I've enjoyed your guys' show for a long time now, so excited to get on and talk some sports.
Absolutely, man. Your TikToks are killing it. I know me and Zach, we follow you pretty closely, man. How is that whole platform? Because we're kind of new to it still.
You know, to be honest, it's pretty frustrating at times. I do think it is the easiest platform, in my opinion, to get like a couple big hits on it, but it's just very inconsistent. So you can have like a couple good videos, in my opinion, that I thought were really good that just do not do anything, and then you have a very bad video that took you 15 seconds to make and it blows up. So that aspect is frustrating, but it's super nice when a big video blows up. And yeah, I'm enjoying the community on there. They're really all in on March Madness right now, which is pretty fun. So getting a lot of engagement there. But yeah, overall pretty good platform. Has its ups and downs, but that's true for every social media one out there. But I enjoy it most of the time.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And those of you who watched the Cooper Sports stuff as it was coming up, Ethan and Wyatt had their own podcast. They were the Cover 2 show. So Ethan, give a little insight on what it was like working with Wyatt and your guys' show that you had.
Yeah, I mean, Wyatt's great to work with. We had a lot of fun doing that Cover 2 show. I will say, for people that didn't watch it or don't know, Wyatt is a Michigan fan. So give him a little hard time there. Obviously, state fan here. And then trifecta, Ben with the Ohio State. So kind of got the Big Ten triangle going here today. But no, I mean, yeah, excited to work with you again, Wyatt. We've had nothing but good times and good content. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
And Green Team, you guys are going to be seeing more Wyatt too, because he is slowly starting to be integrated into the Better in Green universe. So this is not the last time you guys will be seeing Wyatt, that's for sure. So Ethan, did you want to start with some of the games that we got going on today, bud?
Yeah, and I will just point out, I had to wear my Michigan State today. Locked up the double bye in the tournament, but I did wear something for Wyatt as well. I do have my undershirt here of, good coaches win, great coaches cover. Michigan couldn't get it done in the last two at Illinois and Indiana. Covered both. So great. Still great.
I have no words. I'll only say covering will not get us into the tournament. Neither will terrible coaching down the wire. But I'm ending it there. I'm done with Michigan. Screw that team.
But yeah, I mean, Big Ten tournament starts on Wednesday. Until then, we do still have some lower level mid-major tournaments, as well as tomorrow we have some lesser level of the Power 5 conference. I think, Wyatt, I know you have a game you wanted to talk about. I have just two games I would look at. I'm not a huge follower of the mid-majors, the Horizon Conference, the Summit League. Not huge. I'm not watching every game that those teams are playing, but the two games that I do somewhat pay attention to is in the West Coast Conference with Gonzaga taking on San Francisco tonight, and BYU taking on St. Mary's. To me, I think this really sets up for a St. Mary's Gonzaga final, which I think everyone's kind of anticipating. I think they both probably get it done. I don't know if I will bet either game. Gonzaga probably runs away with it against San Francisco. It's just kind of their time of year. The experienced team, they've been here year after year. They probably get it done with ease. I'm actually kind of eyeing BYU. I'm going back and forth, but I kind of think BYU could cover this game. I think St. Mary's little look ahead spot to Gonzaga. And I think BYU has been consistent all year. They've played pretty tight against St. Mary's each of the two games they've played this season. So if you are looking to bet either of those two games, I think you could probably get away with Gonzaga running away with that one. And I would probably look to BYU to keep it close against St. Mary's. And then Wyatt, I think you had a game to touch on.
I'll just touch on those two games as well. It's an interesting year this year in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga, as we all know, used to be. I mean, they're always have 1 or 2 losses every single year, but just because they don't play anyone this year, they really opened up their schedule and kind of got exposed a little bit earlier in the season. They also have a really bad loss this year to another West Coast team. I believe it was LMU, Loyola Marymount, or something like that. So Gonzaga is not the Gonzaga we're used to. However, St. Mary's, I think, is the best St. Mary's team we've seen in my recent memory of them. Their defense is phenomenal. Offensively, they don't do much, but they are very equivalent to like that Virginia team. Really slow offense, just pound it down your throat, nice and isolated, and then their defense is just phenomenal. So that's, you have St. Mary's and you have Gonzaga, who we all know is an absolute powerhouse offensively. So I really enjoyed both those matchups. I'm hoping they both win tonight so we can get that championship game. They did split the series this year, and I believe one of the games was an OT where Gonzaga ended up winning. Overall, really good matchup that I am looking forward to. But as you said, the mid-majors, I'm not a huge fan of. I enjoyed, throwing in a couple here and there. I'm trying to really get on these tournaments so we can see these underdog seeds come March Madness. Like Oral Roberts, for example, will probably be like an 8 seed, which is ridiculous. But they're absolutely phenomenal offensively likewise. But my game is in the Big Sky. I believe it is the quarterfinal in the Big Sky tournament. I have Montana -5. Unfortunately, I thought I was going to get in early on this one. It has now moved to -4, so not ideal for my position there. But Montana's playing Idaho State. They have beat them both times this year, 2-0. Beat them one time by 19, the other time by 8 at Idaho State. Montana's on a hot streak right now. They've won 7 of their last 8, as opposed to Idaho State, who's just won 2 of their last 7. So just 2 different teams right now. I think Montana's just much better. I really like them to cover. Unfortunately, the line is not moved in my favor, which scares me a bit, but I do like Montana regardless to cover the 5 points tonight against Idaho State in the Big Sky tournament. That game is at 7:30, and saw a lot of people on Twitter on this game. So I kind of jumped on their bandwagon and did a little research on my own, and I do think Montana is the play, plus the point or minus the points in this one.
Yeah. Ethan kind of was talking about in the beginning that we're all Big Ten guys, big Ten fans. Part of that's due to where we live. Part of that's just those are some of the best schools, aren't they, guys? No
Very
bias.
true.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let's talk about this Big Ten tournament. So Wyatt, you guys are playing Rutgers. Ethan, you guys are playing nobody here starting off. And my Buckeyes doesn't matter who they're playing. They're going to probably lose this first game. They're playing Wisconsin. We're terrible. We're a football school.
You're playing Zach's team. Too bad he's not here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Zach would have that one on me. I don't see us probably winning this game one and done. I usually, if they ever make it to March Madness, I pick them to win the first game and then they're out the very next one. We'll see. They don't even make the tournament, I bet.
Yeah. I actually it wouldn't shock me if they beat Wisconsin.
You think so? I would love it.
I don't know. I mean, Wisconsin's kind of going the wrong way right now. I think it's hilarious. First of all, that Ohio State and Wisconsin were both ranked this season, and now they're where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Michigan State just beat Wisconsin as a ranked team like mid-January, so it wasn't that long ago that they were looking pretty good. And now they're the 12th seed in the Big Ten. Yeah, I don't know if I'll bet that game. It wouldn't shock me either way, whoever wins it. Nebraska probably comes out and rolls Minnesota. Nebraska's been pretty hot as of late. I do think Wyatt's Michigan Wolverines get it done against Rutgers.
Yep.
I'll take Iowa over whoever they have to play. I think Illinois probably gets it done. I can't think of a player for Penn State right now who's kind of been carrying them. Number 22, I believe he is. But I think Illinois has actually got a decent team. I think they could potentially put it together, make a little bit of a run. But and I'll take – it wouldn't shock me if Nebraska upset Maryland, honestly. But once we get to the meat and potatoes of the bracket, Wyatt and I have both been critical of Purdue all season long. It really would not shock me if Michigan got the W there. I don't think Purdue really cares or needs it that bad. Michigan definitely does. I think Michigan could get it done. I think Michigan State gets it done over Iowa more than likely. We saw the last matchup between those two go into overtime. Michigan State had one of the biggest collapses I've ever seen in my life. I was sick to my stomach, had to take a nap afterwards because I just didn't even know if I could live with myself. So I think Michigan State gets some pretty quick revenge against Iowa if that is the matchup. And then I won't really touch on the lower part of the bracket. I think IU kind of works their way right to the top. They got a pretty easy draw, in my opinion. Then we'd get the Michigan State matchup in the semis. I have to go Sparty, obviously. I do think they're the better team. Michigan would probably need it more. It'd probably be a great game. Kind of hope that happens. And then IU against either Michigan or Michigan State, I think that could really go either way. So I guess I won't give you a full winner here, but I do think it will probably be Indiana, Michigan, or Michigan State who wins the tournament.
Yeah, I agree on that. And the biggest thing I'm looking forward to all through college basketball now is home court advantage is completely done. Unless you're Houston, who pretty much has a walk-on playing, 20 miles away until the Final Four, which is absolutely insane. Then they have to go 2 hours away. So it's just ridiculous. But home court is done in college basketball. And this year, I think more than years past, we've seen such a huge home court advantage. You look at the Big Ten, there's 10 teams projected right now to make the tournament. Unfortunately, Michigan's not one of them, but they're all decided within 1 or 2 games. And you look at their home records, besides Wisconsin, which I still think is BS, Wisconsin is getting in, every single home team is like 13-4 or better playing at home. And that's the same through the SEC as well as the ACC and even the Pac-12. So now we're coming into conference championships and conference tournaments, and home court is gone. I believe Michigan's they're playing in Chicago this year, right? The tournament.
Yeah.
Chicago. Usually it's Indianapolis, but I believe that's moved to Chicago. So still really no home court advantage. So now we're just seeing the meat and, we're seeing what teams are good. And we're seeing this Maryland team, who I think is the biggest fraud team in the Big Ten besides Purdue. But I mean, Purdue's, just because of their 1 seed, I don't think they deserve to be a 1. But Maryland, their home or their away record is like 2-11. They can win a game on the road. They're unbelievable at home. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to match up just without, having that home court advantage. So, I can talk Michigan all I want. I still think they're a great team. Unfortunately, I am going to blame the coach because you got to win these games down the stretch. If you saw the Illinois game, they went to double overtime. They had 3 different chances in end of regulation and end of both overtimes to win that game. Couldn't do it. We saw it again last night. They could not. They're up by 10 with 3 minutes left against Indiana. Can't close. So, yeah, Michigan, I think, can compete with everyone. However, they're up against Izzo. If they're up against Illinois' coach, if they're up against even Purdue, like that, it's just better coach, and it's really hard to pick a team that can't get coached properly. And, I think Michigan can compete with anyone, but I actually hate the first-round matchup against Rutgers. They just had big revenge 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. I personally like Rutgers in that matchup. But I really like Michigan State right now. I shit on Michigan State quite a bit for, I just not a huge fan. They do the Izzo is the month of March, whatever. But it is true, and I do think he is legit. And I really like Michigan State coming out of this Big Ten tournament this year.
I'm shocked to hear you say that, but I love it.
They're my favorite March Madness Big Ten team as well. I think they're going to be the furthest team in the tourney this year.
I just saw they're 3rd in the nation in 3-point shooting right now, and
really,
yeah, that's always something I look for.
So that's surprising.
Not at all, and it's something I always look for in my Cinderella teams. So, yeah, and like you said, with good coaching, Coach Izzo, and a good 3-point shooting team, I mean, it's a tough out for anybody.
For sure.
Now I know me and Ethan, our main sports are the NFL. Wyatt, what's your main sport?
Honestly, college football is by far my most invested one. However, college basketball and NFL are really close second. But those top 3 by far are my favorite and most involved in. NBA, NHL, I try to stay away as long as I can. But unfortunately, we're coming to that time of year where that's all we have left. So definitely my top 3 would be those. And then I would, dabble with NHL and NBA. And then I just am terrible at baseball. So, I usually come June, July, I'm losing money left and right on MLB. But I love football, and then college basketball. This time of year, I think is the best time of year in all of sports. So, those are my top 3 for sure.
Baseball is so bizarre. My Royals are like winning more games now than they're going to win. Like the whole season, they're going to be the first ones to 100 losses.
My Tigers, well, I guess probably me and Wyatt's Tigers got beat, I think 18-2 2 days ago. It was like a 14-run inning, I think, against us. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. But
Let's switch gears to the NFL here real quick. We just had the combine. The first thing I want to talk about that is I don't want to have any spoiler alerts, but I ran the 40 and so did Anthony Richardson. And I if you haven't seen the video yet, you can skip this part, but he beat me by a little bit. What do you guys think? Anthony Richardson, he's broke multiple records for quarterbacks. And a lot of the, I feel like, fair assessment is that though these are not quarterback stats. You saw him miss people when he's throwing. He might be a freak, but I'm seeing more Taysom Hill vibes than Patrick Mahomes. Wyatt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, his combine stats are ridiculous. 4.43 40, 40.5-inch vertical, and then a 10.9 broad jump. Those are ridiculous numbers, just pure athleticism right there. But as you said, and it's also been questioned all year, not even just a combine. He can't make the throws. I don't think he had a passing touchdown until like week 5 this year. Cannot connect with wide receivers. Just not like he's giving me very much Terrell Pryor vibes. You know, he'll probably end up he's a little big to be that slot wide receiver, but a tight end, Taysom Hillish, maybe can get out the slot. He's 4.43. That's top end speed. But I just, he's a freak athlete. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback. And I swear to God, if like a team like the Lions or someone else see this guy and pick him up early, he's just not going to be the answer. Again, freak athlete, but again, how many times have we seen these freak athletes do nothing in the NFL? So really impressive what he did. I think that, again, just shows his athleticism, but he's just not a NFL quarterback. It's just, it's a different breed in the NFL. It's weird, Heisman winners, Tim Tebow, they don't correlate to NFL success. I think he'll find a place in the league at some position. Again, he could probably stick around quarterback for a little bit as a, third stringer, but I think if he wants to find success, it's going to be that, wide receiver, possible small tight end position.
Yeah. First of all, Ben, welcome back from the combine. Nice performance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My hammy's still recovering.
Yeah. Richardson just got you by the nose there. But
which is surprising because I have a really big nose.
His is just a little bigger. But no, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of critical on the combine. I think it's just a scam at this point. Like, what really is it doing? I don't know. I don't fully understand. Like, cool, you're an athletic guy, but like, now show me some in-game. Like, Brady is the perfect example. I mean, he was just awful at the combine, but no one has the head of Brady. No one understands the game of football like Brady did. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm impressed by Anthony Richardson's numbers as well, but I agree completely with you guys. I just don't think it's going to translate. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of guys on Twitter wanting Anthony Richardson to go to Detroit 6th overall or even trade up to get him. I'm like, this is just a disaster waiting to happen. And even Dan Campbell kind of came out and said he's not out on taking a quarterback. He's going to consider everything. So I don't know. I hope it's just smoke and mirrors at this point. I don't want him whatsoever. I think that sets our franchise back even further than it already is. I mean, obviously we had the decent finish of the year, but as a franchise as a whole, we don't have much to brag about. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of impressive guys there. I did see some nice throws from Richardson, but again, it's at the combine. I can make some pretty nice throws in my backyard too, but when I get an NFL blitz coming at me, it's going to change the game a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. But I agree. I don't think he's going to make it as an NFL quarterback.
I think Shannon Sharp said that there's not been a single NFL touchdown thrown or caught in T-shirts and shorts.
That is a perfect way to
point. Yes.
Perfect.
Speaking of Taysom Hill, the Saints look like they've got their new quarterback with Derek Carr. Looks like he signed a 4-year deal. Ethan, what do you think about this? I think it makes the Saints favorites in that division going forward.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen the thing going around Twitter of the quarterbacks in the NFC or the NFC South between all 4 teams. It's just like a complete joke of people. Kyle Trask and I can't even name
Desmond Ritter,
and yeah,
Darnold.
Yep. So yeah, Derek Carr is instantly the best quarterback in that division.
Yep.
I think I touched on this all season, but I am such a Taysom Hill guy. It just blew my mind that the Saints didn't get Taysom Hill more involved at quarterback. I would love to see Derek Carr and Taysom Hill do like a dual quarterback type deal. I still am a firm believer in Taysom, just getting him involved in the offense. But yeah, I do think the Saints could be pretty good. Kamara, if he can stay healthy, Michael Thomas, if he can stay on the field. Chris Olave looked like a budding star last season as a rookie. They do have the pieces offensively for sure. Their defense still has some pieces as well. So I think it's a good signing for the Saints. It's a good signing for Derek Carr as well. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, in my opinion, Carr is on the verge of becoming his brother pretty quickly here if he does not turn this around. We thought him and his high school or his college teammate Devontae Adams were going to do something special at Vegas last year, and they did not figure it out. Carr looked really bad. You did not connect with him and his college teammate, which made zero sense to me. I thought that was just be like, the best combo we've seen in a long time, but then they just could not figure it out. And I want to root for him. I like Derek Carr, but this is a huge season for him because, again, if he has a losing record this year, if he goes 6-10, whatever he was at Vegas, he is very close to being cut and just turned on to a second stringer for the rest of his career. And I don't want that to happen. I really want him to succeed. And he is going to be in one of the worst conferences in football, so I guess that's a good advantage for him. But he's in a dangerous spot, and I hope they can figure it out. Hopefully, he can get some wins, get some connections with, Michael Thomas if he can come back, if, Olave continues to improve. But yeah, I'm rooting for him. I just don't know if he's going to be the answer. He has a really good shot playing absolutely nobodies at quarterback in that whole conference, but he's pretty close to himself as a nobody. So I'm rooting for him. I just don't know if he's going to be the answer.
That's a great point, Wyatt. I think with the Saints, they're seeing this division, like you were saying, Ethan, and really anything outside of the playoffs is a disappointment. So he's not set up. Usually you think with quarterbacks going to their next contract, like the expectations are low. He's going in with you make the playoffs or you might be out of here.
Right.
You know who he kind of reminds me of is Matt Schaub.
Yes.
A little bit. I don't think he'll ever get to the big game. Like, I don't ever see him as like much of a winner. I guess he won back early in his career, but I don't see him having that like next level to take to take any team, no matter how talented they are, to a playoff or to a Super Bowl.
He's a regular season quarterback.
Yeah.
We heard the cop sirens just a little bit ago, and it's a great segue into our Derrick Henry takes. Ethan, I saw what you were saying a little bit on Twitter, man. Derrick Henry looks like the Titans might be shopping him around a little bit, and I think they might have been coming for you, buddy. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for this segment. I just got to get some stuff off my chest here. It's absolutely hilarious to me, and this probably happens with all fan bases, but obviously I just follow the Lions very closely. Whenever a old veteran is getting moved, every Lions fan is like, well, let's listen to it. We could make it happen. We've heard it with Jalen Ramsey, which could actually happen, looking like it actually probably will happen. Bobby Wagner, which I'm like, okay, who is this guy now? He's 34 maybe. He's just the name at this point. He's a shell of himself as a player. And now we're hearing it with Derrick Henry. It's just funny to me. It's like, we're not going to go to the Super Bowl with a couple of 35-year-old guys coming in to join our young team. I don't think we're that close to the Super Bowl where that's all it's going to take is another piece or two, a veteran like that. And then you guys know too, I'm pretty critical on NFL running backs, so I don't think Henry would work out. But my main concern is, I mean, we all watched the Titans. We all got burned on the Titans last year at the end a lot. Henry just didn't look good, in my opinion. I mean, I remember watching multiple games where it was a 3rd or 4th and 1 or a goal line play, and you would think like, oh, just give it to Henry. He's going to get in. First contact, I mean, he's just crumbling like it was nothing, you know? I don't know. I think they just overran him. They probably wore him right down, and I think they're shopping him because they know he's kind of a shell of himself at this point too. He might have one more good year, so get what you can out of him now. And that's if he stays on the field, and he's proven he can't really stay on the field. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want him in Detroit, but it'll be interesting to see if anyone bites on the Derrick Henry move.
Yeah, I know you keep saying with the running backs, they are, you just trade them whenever you want. They're pretty disposable. And we saw that this year with Jamal Williams, who, no offense to Jamal, he's just not a very talented running back, yet he was a leading touchdown scorer in the league. So it just depends your system, your O-line, and pretty much anyone can do it. Just like you said, you could get the fourth down conversion 80% of the time. Probably the same thing if you're any sort of running back running behind that Detroit line this year. You probably were going to score, 15 touchdowns yourself. So very disposable. I do think there are a couple of running backs in this league that are just on their own, complete different level. And Henry at one point was one of these, but just this year was just not a great year with injuries. He is getting older. He's just a one type of running back now. Doesn't really have the reception part of his game at all. So he's just a downhill runner, which is fine. But if you can't stay healthy, then you get completely, you're useless. So yeah, I don't think he classifies as a guy that you go out and get as of right now. So I don't know if they're going to get a whole lot for him. You could get a young GM, a stupid team, Lions of the past. Hopefully they're a little smarter now that would go and jump on this guy. But I don't think he's going to be a huge asset to whatever team he comes on, which is sad because he is, a couple years ago was the best player we've ever seen. Came close to breaking the single season record. And but that's just the NFL life. That's just the life of a running back. You have a couple good years and then you're done. You're donezo. So we'll see what happens. I personally like him on the Titans. I think him and Vrabel are a good fit. They do what they want to do offensively based off of Henry. So I like him at the Titans, but again, the Titans have not figured it out the last 2 years. So we'll see where he ends up.
When you play fantasy football, it's hard to get, you have like rose-colored glasses. Sometimes you want guys that you like playing Madden with. You have guys who have won championships in the past. So I came up with my own like number grading system. I call it the Bentley player grading system. You get 7 points and you take off versus injuries, expectations. I'm not going to get into it all today. That's for another show. But NFL running backs, when they hit that age 28, that's a steep cliff. And he's 29 now. And a lot of the times you see it where they don't fall off quite then is because they haven't had a huge workload. Henry, he's been having 300 yard seasons over it, 300 carry seasons over and over and over again. He's got a lot of tread on those tires, and we saw him decline last year. It's only going to keep declining. So they're not going to be getting what they thought they could have got 2 years ago for trading him. I see what is he worth? A 5th round pick at this point? What do you guys think?
The middle round, 4 to 7, probably.
4 to 7.
Yeah, so I have to clarify the post I replied to on Twitter. They were saying, do we offer DeAndre Swift a 2nd and a 5th? And I'm like, what? I mean, I'm like, come on. The guy, maybe 4 years ago.
Right.
But yeah, I would say a mid-round pick, and you're hoping you can get 8 games to a full season out of him. Yeah, I think. And yeah, I do just want to clarify too, nothing against Derrick Henry. I think I'm on record on one of these shows saying that, again, the whole I don't really believe in running backs, except the 2 that I've seen that could potentially change point spreads and change games, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, over the last span of years. So nothing against Derrick Henry. He's way outlived his expectancy for a downhill runner like he is. One of the greatest downhill runners of all time. Just age is catching up to him, and I just don't think he can do it for another year.
If the Titans get rid of him, sorry, why you go ahead?
Yeah, I do think if he gets traded this year, he's right there with Adrian Peterson. He's just going to keep going season after season, new team, play 4 games this year, play 5 games next year. So I hope he stays, because I think if he stays, he's not going to experience that. But if he gets traded to whatever team, I cannot see him staying at that place for more than a year. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's a great comparison too, because he's gonna be the guy that comes in and eats the touchdowns. He's gonna be the fantasy nightmare.
Yeah,
your starting running back is gonna drive you down the field, and then Derrick Henry's gonna get 8 to 12 touchdowns on the year and have 400 yards rushing. That's how it's gonna be.
If they trade him too, that Titans team is gonna be terrible. They're gonna be a bottom 10 team easily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no receivers. Their quarterbacks, I mean, I don't really have much faith in either of them. And then that offensive line, now they got rid of Luan. There's that team's going to be bad.
Worst
Yeah.
secondary in the league as well in defense.
Exactly. Yeah, they're in trouble. Even if they keep Henry, really, I think they're still in trouble.
Yeah, because I think at this point they have to stick with Malik Willis. I don't think you can really go back to Tannehill at this point.
Yep.
What's the point?
Maybe. Yeah.
See what
So,
you have in
yeah.
Willis. If he's nothing, then you got to move on. Tannehill's not the answer.
Right.
Ethan, was there any NBA, NHL games you want to touch on before we get to our big three?
Yeah, I mean, we have some decent. We can start with the NHL.
Okay.
Couple of decent games. I mean, I think the Oilers Sabres is one we're kind of all looking forward to. The total in that game is set at 7, juiced heavily to the over. Should be a complete shootout. I'll wait to get into what I like in that game and until we get to the best bets. And then 2 more games I'll just quickly touch on. I think the Flames and Stars should be a good one. This is a back-to-back game. We just saw this game 2 nights ago. That game finished 3-0 Stars. Very tempted to take the under again, but I'm going to stay off just because I think sometimes in these back-to-back situations in the NHL, the script kind of flips. So it goes from a Stars win to an under to maybe Flames win and an over today. But I'm not confident enough to bet either way in that one. But it should be a good game. Kind of playoff implications there. Calgary going in the complete wrong direction. Stars are kind of shoring it up right now. And then last one, Washington and the LA Kings, kind of the same thing. The Capitals are just in a free fall right now. They had the whole Alex Ovechkin ordeal going on when his dad passed. He was out of the lineup for a while and he's back now, but I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I mean, they're just not looking good. LA made a couple of moves at the deadline. I think they're playing pretty well. They're trying to lock up a spot. The Kings really good at home as well. So I think they've won 5 straight at home. Them 19-11, I believe, is their record at home this year. So minus 140, pretty short price to me, at least in that game. I think you could take a look at the Kings in that one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm personally all over the Oilers Sabres game. I like just aiming both in NHL and NBA. I like looking at that game. That's on the it is ESPN Plus, but whatever. Everyone has ESPN Plus now. It is the hockey night game of the day. If you look at NBA as well, there's a couple big matchups, and I just like focusing on those big matchups as opposed to just investing in all the games on the board. Because I do think all these players are going to show up on these big matchups. So. For the Oilers and the Sabres, I love that over, even though it is juice and it is at 7. That's a really juicy line, but I do think this could be very high scoring. If you know much about the Oilers, they just score at all costs. However, their defense is also atrocious. And then the Sabres, on the other hand, one of the worst teams in the NHL recently, but they just don't care at all at this point. They shoot the puck at every single shot they have. And again, their defense is really bad. So I think this has potential to be a huge shootout game, possibly even 10 points total or 10 goals total. So I really like just that game in regards to player props as well. I love Tage Thompson. You go to the best player on the Sabres, in my opinion, super young and upcoming guy. Now he's up against probably the best player in their sport with Connor McDavid. So I can see those two, having a good shootout, battling back and forth. So I really like the opportunity for both those players, both shots, points, assists, anything you can do on those player props. I absolutely love. And in that game, I really like that over. But and then that other one, the Kings game, I'm right there with you. Kings are playing really good right now, and the Caps are kind of on the downfall. So I think Kings at home is also a pretty solid play on the board. But besides that, I haven't really looked a whole lot into the NHL. NBA, a couple good player props out there. I love different matchups. So our Pistons are taking on the Blazers tonight. And if you guys don't know anything about the Blazers right now, Damian Lillard's line is from anywhere from 36 points to 38 points per game, which is absolutely insane. So I just love taking his over all the time, especially playing Detroit, who, Blazers might score 170 points in this game. So really like that spot for Dame. And then another big game, I think, is the Heat against the Hawks. I think that's a really big matchup. The Heat are kind of on a weird streak right now. Atlanta's playing really well after firing their head coach. So I think there's a lot of good value in there for both player props and the total in that game.
I'm looking forward to that Edmonton game too. That's going to be such a great game tonight. I wanted to question both of you guys because you both said you guys were on Vegas, correct?
Yep.
So I'm wondering if is this going to be a trap game for them, because I'm looking at the goalies. They're 19-19-4 for the Capitals. Looking at the Kings, 19-4-2. So it's looking like they've got a clear advantage at goalie. But the Capitals goalie has a better goals against and better save percentage and 4 more shutouts than Copley. Are we worried at all? And the money's heavily. Vegas money line 78%. Are we worried that this is a trap game at all?
Yeah, I'll take that. I also saw last night that this game opened at like minus 160, minus 165. So
Yeah.
money, sharp money is coming in on the Capitals. So yeah, a little nervous. The goalies don't bother me too much. I think I still like Copley better than Darcy Kemper in this one, but yeah, the money is probably ultimately going to keep me away. I just think the Kings, I mean, I think they're a rising team, and like we said, I think the Capitals are a falling team. I really do. I think the Capitals are going to miss the playoffs. I think the Kings are probably going to squeak in, or not really squeak in, but I think they're going to make it and could make some noise. So I would lean the Kings, but yeah, definitely the sharp money scares me.
Yeah, it's definitely some weird movement in that. If you look at the Kings, though, they're very consistent. They always are in games. Usually, they win. They keep them close, which is a little scary. Usually it's like a 1-goal game more often than not. If you look at the Caps, they're either blowing out teams or getting blown out. So I think that risk factor in the Caps is kind of worrisome. But the Kings, in my opinion, I think you're going to get what you get. So I think the Kings is a smart play. However, the Caps, I think the last two of the last 5 games, they've thrown up 7 goals each. So they have the ability to do that. I don't think they're going to do it tonight, but I do think that's why the line is where it's at and why it's moving weirdly, because of the Capitals' just potential to just explode.
I do want to touch on just one quick game in the NBA as well. Again, likely won't be betting it, but Cavaliers are a 7-point favorite at home against Boston.
Yeah.
I do see Jason Tatum and Al Horford are both out. It's also back-to-back with travel game for the Celtics. This game was -8. It's now down to -7. I kind of like when teams have their superstar out and they're catching points, kind of a bad spot. Everyone just thinks the Cavs are going to win it because Tatum's out. But last week, Ben, we talked Jaylen Brown can pick up right where Jason Tatum left off.
Exactly.
So that doesn't worry me. It's actually more of a play on. Obviously, some money coming in on the Celtics at this point, which I think is going to be sharp money. I see today that the most public play in the NBA this tonight is the Cavaliers. So I would take the points with the Celtics, and I'm not shocked whatsoever if they win outright.
Mm-hmm. Well, then on that note, Ethan, did you want to get into the big 3? Are we ready?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
You guys good?
Yeah, I'm good. You want to start?
Yep. You want me to give all 3?
Let's go one at a time still.
One at a time. Okay. All right. So I know you guys know, anyone listening probably doesn't, but I have been riding Connor McDavid over shots on goal prop for close to 2 months now, maybe over 2 months. It's just a cash cow. I think he's gone 15-3 maybe since I've been on it. So once again, I'm taking it again tonight. Last I checked, you could get, it was at 4.5. You could get a +108 on FanDuel. It was -105 on DraftKings. So it's going to be floating somewhere in there, right near even odds. He missed this. He had landed on 4 2 nights ago. But like we've said, this game's going to be wide open, fast skating back and forth, a lot of attempts. So I think he has no issue getting over 4.5 shots in this game, especially at that price.
If people wanted to know where to find like all these picks that you're making, so they know about the Connor McDavid stuff earlier, where should they go to find all your picks, Ethan?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at eBainbridge26. I've been tweeting out all my plays there. Also, you can join the Better and Green Discord. All my plays, all of our plays are posted there. Just kind of a gambling group chat, if you will. We invite you to join. Give out your picks, tail our picks, and just kind of talk about sports in that Discord. And we'll have the link posted. I think we have it on our Twitter, but we'll have it posted on YouTube and a couple other places.
All right, Wyatt, let's hear one of yours, buddy.
All right. So, first of all, new to this, so bear with me here. They're all pretty basic here, but one is a little weird here. So it is a two-teamer. I think that still counts. It's very easy. We're doing Tage Thompson over a half a point in tonight's Sabres game. Again, I think he can. I have a smaller player prop with him scoring 3 goals. Obviously, I'm not going to tell that because that's crazy odds. But I do think Tage will get a point. So him over points, and I'm just going to add in the Kings money line there, and it's a nice plus 150 for that.
Ooh.
So I do think the Kings are going to be fine tonight. I'm not too worried about that, and then I expect Tage to have at least 1 point, in tonight's game. So I love that parlay. I think it's very good use, and I wish you could do different parlays on NHL. Same game parlays. DraftKings and FanDuel are a little weird when it comes to that, so that's kind of where I had to draw the line on that one.
I like that.
Like Bo Nickel last week, you kind of have to find your spot where you can get those odds that you like. So I wanted to get some action in this Oilers game, and the one bet that I liked the most was Oilers 60-minute money line. They're at plus 110. So if you think they're just straight up win, this doesn't go to overtime, which I'd much rather take that bet than risking the money line. You only have like minus 140, something like
Right.
that. So I like the better odds there. I'll risk the overtime.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I could see the Oilers winning like 6-2, 6-3.
Yeah.
5-3. I'm gonna stay on the ice, and I'm gonna do another player prop as well. I'm gonna do Tyler Toffoli for the Calgary Flames over 2.5 shots on goal. I think it's like minus 140, so it is pretty juiced up. But I believe he's hit this in 17 of his last 20, and he has not hit in his last 2. So to me, that tells me he's due. So I don't even know what percent that is, 85%. And missing his last 2, I think he probably goes over 2.5, probably within the first 2 periods here. So, this game should also be close. So I kind of like looking for those games as well, either high scoring games or close games where he's going to be out on the ice late in the third, firing pucks on net to hopefully, if he needs one more, he can get it late. So, yeah, I like Tyler Toffoli to get 3 shots on goal tonight.
I like it. I also was looking at his points, and his points looks really good as well. Last game, I think he only had 1 shot, but he also had 1 goal and 1 assist on that 1 shot. So he gets a lot of value for his shots, in my opinion, on goals as well. So I'm going to stay on the ice as well before I transition to my third and last one. But my second pick is going to be in that same Oilers Sabres game, and I'm just going to take the over of 7. It's at minus 125. I do not like taking that when it's that high, but again, I love this game. I could see both teams scoring, 4 to 5 goals. I could see this total getting to 10, 11 total goals. So I like the over of 7, hoping it's gonna be high scoring, and hopefully Tage and Connor can get some shots and goals as well in that matchup.
I like that. Before I give mine, I want to give a quick shout out to this Chacobo Will. I hope I said that right. He joined us on our Discord. Sorry, Twitch. He's following us, so welcome in. Leave us comments, man. We're happy to have you, big time.
Sure.
I'm going over to basketball, guys. This Denver line's been moving, and I'm happy about it because they're now down to 6.5 point favorites versus the Raptors. This is at minus 110. Denver, they've been playing great, and I'm just gonna take them to just beat the Raptors. There's not a whole lot in this game that I'm going off of. I just think that they're a much better team.
I like that.
They're at home for that game too, right? I think.
I believe so. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I think I was looking at that game.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna run 3-0 on the ice tonight. Tough college basketball slate. I would lean the Celtics. That would be my NBA play. I'll give you a little freebie there, but I'm going to look at the Predators and the Canucks game. This worked for me last week. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to take the Canucks under 2.5 team total goals, and we're getting a nice plus 135 on that tonight.
Nice.
I feel pretty good about it. They're going against UC Saros, the Preds goalie. He has a 2.75 goals against average, so a little bit over that 2.5. But the Canucks are they were hot as could be, just a dead over team. They're kind of coming down a little bit, haven't been scoring quite as much, and the Preds are about the biggest under team you could possibly get in the NHL. So I think the Preds find a way to slow this one down. I think UC Saros kind of plays on his head, and I don't think the Canucks get to 3 goals tonight. So I'll take the plus price.
You
just hit that
love-
one too.
You love your unders. I've never met a better in my life that has taken more unders than you. It's ridiculous. Do you watch the games? Because when I take unders, I can't even watch it. I just hope for the end, look at the box score, and hopefully it hits. It's good for you, but it's so stressful.
I love watching NFL unders or football unders. I hate watching hockey unders, and I really hate hockey unders because you can get up and down the ice in like 2 seconds.
Right.
You know, so it's like, yeah, it's tough. The clock doesn't run nearly enough. Like football, at least they can run a play for -2 yards and like boom, 40 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
And then basketball, obviously tough too, because you can trade threes for a minute and you're pretty much dead in the water right there. So, yeah, I would rather scoreboard watch on hockey unders for sure.
Yeah, I got you. All right, for my final one, I'm going to go to the hardwood. The Heat Hawks game, I'm taking Bam Adebayo over 19.5 points. In his 3 games against Atlanta, he's averaging 28 per game against the Hawks. On the season, he's averaging 21, so this is also below his season average, and then he plays really good against the Hawks. So I like him to score at least 20 points tonight. I believe it was at -110, 115. I got it this morning. I think the line might have moved to him at 20 plus or 20.5, but I like him at over 19.5 points. I think it's really good value. And there's just something about Bam against the Hawks that just does it.
Ethan, no pressure. Jacobo Will says he dropped in for the NHL takes. So you gave all NHL ones, man. So he's coming after you.
So that's a 3-0 night.
You've been hot on hockey lately, though, man. You really
I'm having a fire year on hockey. But
my last one, I'm going to college basketball. And Ethan, from the NFL season, I'm not afraid of those huge juiced up point totals. So I'm going Gonzaga -14.5. You knew it. Gonzaga -14.5 at home versus San Francisco University. My girls over at Xavier, they got almost 40 points. They covered 14.5. No, I don't see it. Gonzaga, they're killing people, and I believe Gonzaga, I think they're at home for this game too. This San Francisco University versus Gonzaga. That's all I really have to say about that game.
I thought you were going to go with the point total in that one because I saw it at 162 for the total in that college basketball game.
Well, Gonzaga's probably hitting 90 themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
exactly.
God, I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed. We got no women's ball. We got no UFC. I thought maybe you're gonna come on and give us like a speed skating or something.
I'm telling you, I went real chalk this week, man. There's just nothing that jumped out to me.
Right.
And both of them hit too, if I might add.
They did. That's why I was waiting, like maybe some collegiate field hockey or something.
I need to, man. I was busy. I didn't get to check the slate as much today, but
Yeah,
I feel good about those 3.
Yep.
All right, you guys ready to do some ranking the top 5 in NHL quarterbacks? Oh my gosh, NHL goalies. Talking football before messed me up. So what we're doing, guys, is we're ranking our top 5 current starting hockey goalies. Guys, I didn't include Carey Price or any of injured guys. Is that what you guys did as well?
Yeah.
You're doing right now. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I can take the first one.
Okay.
All right, so my number 5, obviously, a lot of guys you could consider for this list. I had to leave a few out that I really wanted to get on here. But tough to build this list without putting a guy like Andrei Vasilevsky on there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He is my number 5 right now. Wouldn't argue if anyone has him at 1 or anywhere between 1 through 5. To me, he's just, I think some guys have passed him a little bit, but the Lightning, I mean, they've made the Stanley Cup the last 3 years, winning 2 of those. So I had to put him on the list, but I do have him kind of low just because I think there are some guys who have kind of stood on their head for the last year or 2 pretty consistently that I have above him for right now.
I like that. Before we get started here, I want to I'm very interested in the records more than their goals allowed and goals against. So I really love the record. I think that's the biggest testament for a goalie. Like you are seeing a couple teams that, their goalies aren't as good, but their defenders are amazing. However, I still think that record is the best thing, in my opinion, for the rank of the goalie. Also, my pronunciation on these guys is going to be completely wrong. I don't really,
Same.
not a huge hockey guy, especially hockey goalies. I know Ethan, every single hockey game, he looks at the goalie matchups. I just look at, their offensive players. But I'll just start here. Probably a little controversial here because he is one of the top ranked in regards to points or goals allowed per game. But my number 5 is going to be Philip Gustafsson or whatever from the Wild. Again, he's 17-8 on the record, which is not great. However, he is the second overall in points or goals allowed per game at 1.99. However, his record just doesn't perform, in my opinion, to get him in that top 4.
I like that.
You did pretty well with that pronunciation.
That one's an easy one, I think.
I'll give you a 1-0 to start.
Okay.
Yeah, Ethan, you might need to be helping us out here, buddy.
All right.
I disagree. Like, my thought process on goalies is I don't look at records because of goals scored and stuff. If they're on a really good offensive team, then that kind of floats them a little bit. I look a lot at save percentage and shots on goal too. I'm looking to see how tested they are really when it comes to the playoffs. So number 5, I actually have Nashville's Jose Saros.
Yep.
Close enough. Okay.
Yep.
He's 9th in save percentage. He's at the 3rd most shots on goal. He's just allowed 2 more goals than a guy I really like, that Connor Hellebuyck. And he's only allowed 2 more goals and only 0.002% worse save percentage. And I think Connor's very good. So that's why I have Husey at 5.
I like that. Both killing the pronunciation so far. And I'll be different than both of you guys. I'm kind of just going off the eye test and just kind of the, like Wyatt said, I play a ton of unders. So I'm looking at a certain amount of NHL goalies that keep games low scoring. They can kind of stand on their head and have success without letting the puck past them. Number 4, I'm picking Jake Ottinger for the Dallas Stars. If you guys watched the playoffs last year, he was a complete beast. I mean, Dallas probably had no business being in the playoffs, let alone making a run. It was all Ottinger, and I believe they lost in overtime game 7 to get eliminated. That might have been in the semis, honestly. So they were very close to making the Stanley Cup last season. It would have been all on his shoulders. And then this year, he's just done more of the same. Complete under team there in Dallas. He's getting some more help around him offensively. And it wouldn't shock me at all if the Dallas Stars make a run in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, on Jake Ottinger's shoulders.
Yeah, I like that one as well. He's on my list. Not at 4, though. My 4, so I really do not like the Maple Leafs. I think they're a very overrated hockey team. They do this every single year that they should be winning the NHL. They're not in. However, their goalie this year, I believe it's Ilya Samsonov or whatever. 22-8 on the year, 2.39 goals allowed per game, 0.91 or 91% save percentage. I just think he's for as much as I do not like the Maple Leafs, he is one of their key factors in getting them the wins. Again, 22-8 record is decent enough for me to put him at 4. I just think he, performs when they need him to, and they'll probably get let down at some point in the playoffs just because that's a Maple Leaf thing to do. But I do like him at 4 on this list.
Ethan, I have your number 5 and my number 4. That Andre Vasilevsky?
Vasilevsky. That's a tough one. I won't make you reset it.
Thank you. He played. How does he have all the championships that the Lightning just got? Was he their goalie for all those teams?
Yes, I think he kind of split the first one, if I remember right.
But he was part of the team.
I can't remember how many they've won at this point, but yeah, he's been there.
Yeah, he's outstanding. He's tied for second most games played and second most ice time. He's 11th in save percentage, so that's a little lower than I would have liked to have someone in the top 5, but he's second in wins, and he's so good. When you've played the second most games, second in wins, he plays on a good team, and he's one of the factors that make them a good team.
For sure. All right, my number 3. This kind of hurts me to do it because I like this guy so much, but the 2 guys ahead of him, I just think are a little better. I'm gonna go Igor Shesterkin for the New York Rangers. Um, Again, last year kind of came out of nowhere. The guy can't even speak English, I don't believe. Maybe he can this year. Last year, I don't think he could, or at least was not fluent enough. I think he had to have a um, whatever you call it, interpreter. But dude can just flat out play. I actually took a future back in June, I believe, for the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup at 20-1 this year, and that was almost fully on Shesterkin. Just thought, like I said with Ottinger last year, he took a team that wasn't quite as good with the players on the ice. Their goalie just kind of took them close to the Stanley Cup, and then turns out the Rangers are actually pretty damn good this year. They're making some great transactions, or made some great transactions before the deadline. It's just Shesterkin. He's kind of fallen off a touch from where he was last year, which is why he's at 3 for me, but still a fantastic goalie and still a guy I think they could ride to a Stanley Cup championship this year.
Yeah, I left Igor off my list. I was not impressed with him the last couple weeks. I know he's had some injuries and whatnot, but I don't know. Last year he was unbelievable, and I'm going to go back to my number 3 with your number 4, Jake Ottinger. I just think he had more of a playoff. He did what he did to make their team further in the playoffs, and I think Igor did. And then this year, I think Ottinger's just been better than Igor throughout the season. He's 26-8 on the record. 92% save percentage, 2.31 goals allowed per game. Again, you pretty much touched on him at your number 4, but I like Jake to round that off at 3 for the Stars.
I had such a hard time. I don't have Igor on my list either. Ethan, he was right. I could have slotted him in at 4 or 5. Right. He's my 6 for sure. I just like those other 2 guys just a little bit more ahead of him. My number 3 is that Connor Hellebuyck. He is the second most shots on goal, and he is number 6 in save percentage. So the only person above him with more shots on goal, their save percentage is 33rd. So the dude's blocking everything. He's tied for first in games played. He's just an animal, man. He's played out of his mind this year.
Yeah, he's probably my 6th. He didn't quite make my list. I mean, this is good though. I think it's nice that we're all kind of differentiating a little bit. Wyatt, last week we did the top 10 NBA players, and we agreed. Me and Zach at the top 5, completely the same. It was just a lot of parity going on, but I feel like you can make a case with like 8 guys to be the top goalies. But for my number 2, could be a little biased here, but I just think he's a rock star. Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders. I am kind of an Islanders fan a little bit. Used to love John Tavares when he played there, and then he was shipped to the Maple Leafs. I can't stand the Maple Leafs, so I stuck with the Islanders instead of sticking with John T. But Sorokin, kind of the same thing as Jake Ottinger. Just really carried the Islanders when they had no business in the playoffs. This was 2 years ago. I believe they might have been 1 game away against the Lightning from making the Stanley Cup final. Again, that one might have been overtime as well. And again, all on Sorokin's shoulders. He's done it the last year. Excuse me. And he's doing it again this year. Complete under team. He's not allowing teams to score typically more than 2 goals on him. And I think once again, he could be the difference in the Islanders. Right now, they're sitting in a playoff spot. I think they do probably make the playoffs, and I think, again, they can make a run just simply because of Sorokin and that.
Yeah, the amount of times I've taken Islander overs and been screwed by that guy are too many to count. So I can see him. I can see why he's high on your list. My number 2, I'm just going to go to one of my favorite teams, the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going to take Antti Ranta. No idea if that's pronounced correctly, but 16-2 record, which is phenomenal. I know he's splitting a lot of time with their other goalie, Anderson. But Ranty, 2.26 goals allowed per game. That's the 3rd highest in the NHL, or 3rd lowest in the NHL. 91% save percentage, which is not great. But he has helped Carolina to be one of the best teams in hockey, and I personally love. Carolina's my second favorite team right now to win it all, and I think that's a lot based on their defense and Ranta. So I like him at number 2. My favorite team is next with my favorite goalie as well.
Okay. Before we get to the my second one, I just want to let everybody know that the little live sub counter you're seeing above, like by my head, that is the live sub counter. So if you guys subscribe to us on YouTube, that number will actually change. So if you want to see how our technical aspect is, make sure you check us out on YouTube and give us a subscribe. My second one is that Jake Ottinger of the Dallas Stars. He's amazing. He's one of those that just passes the eye test. Tied for second most shutouts. I didn't have a ton on him. He's just so good. He reminds me a lot of like Ben Bishop back in his prime. Just an excellent goalie.
Ben Bishop is who I was trying to think of. I think he might have gotten the Lightning started, and then Vasilevsky.
I think you're right.
From there, I think it's how that happened.
I love Ben Bishop, man.
Yeah, he was good. We might all have the same number 1, not sure, but he had to put him here this year. Linus Ullmark for the Boston Bruins. I mean, there's not a ton to say about him. Boston's completely phenomenal this year. One of the best teams, points wise and wins wise ever in NHL history. And Ullmark's obviously been a huge part of that. I'm sure one of you guys will have the record and his stats. I don't have it up in front of me, but just a complete beast right now. Boston's tough to beat, and they're not really winning in shootouts. They're winning low scoring, tough fighting matchups, and Ullmark's keeping pucks out of zone net. So Ullmark's got to be number 1 for me right now.
Yep, he's mine as well. I do have the records. Actually, both Bruins goalies are phenomenal right now, but Ullmark has 32 games played. 36 games played. He's 32-4. The other goalie, Swayman, is 16-4. That brings the Bruins record to 49-8, which is absolutely unheard of in hockey, which we all know can very well be, you can lose just like that. Tough to win that many games and lose that few. And I do think Ullmark is the reason for that. Highest save percentage at almost 94%, allowing the lowest amount of goals per game at 1.89. Absolutely phenomenal. And I love the Bruins this year. I think that's a very weird thing, or not very easy thing to say, because they are just by far the best team in hockey. There's not a whole lot of value for them to win the NHL, but based off their goalies, their defensemen are phenomenal. Offensively, they just find ways to score. Pasternak's a dog. I love the Bruins to win the championship this year, as well as, if not, make it super far. And Ullmark is by far just the best goalie in the game right now.
Yeah, it's no debate. It's Ullmark. I had the same stats that you just had, Wyatt. Number 1 save percentage. That's all he needed for me. Sub 2 goals a game. I mean, The guy's just been phenomenal.
It's insane. You know what I'm salty about, which almost kept him off my list completely? Not really, but I played fantasy hockey last year. I'm not playing this year. Ullmark was my goalie, and the dude sucked. Just completely blew. I had such a bad team, and oh my god. Then I'm like, well, if I would have played this year and had him, I'd probably be in first place. But
Right.
Nope.
Right.
How it goes.
Yep, exactly.
Guys, we still have time. I believe at the end of the month, we are going to be giving away the last of our 3 I Suck Last Place Fantasy Football medals. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you guys can win that. We'll probably do 1 March Madness bracket. Let's do 1 from Alive and then 1 Caitlin's picking. So we'll have it that way. Ethan, are you still pounding away on the W?
Still going with the W.
Good man.
I actually have the Beach and Peach coming. Almost out from my blue raspberry here, but the blue ras will stay here even once it's empty, just because it fits the color scheme so well. So.
I think you need to start like a little pyramid thing too.
Yeah, I might have
As
to.
the tubs start going down.
Right.
And if you guys are interested in trying it too, because that stuff's delicious, we want to thank some of our sponsors at W. W's not your traditional energy drink. Their drinks have 0 sugar, fillers, artificial dyes, and are gluten-free. Their product is made right here in the United States. All their flavors are custom made, featuring blue raspberry, dragon fruit pink strawberry, Granny Smith apple, passion fruit tea, fruit punch lemon lime, mango white peach, watermelon guava lime, and strawberry banana. Use our code BIG, that's capital B-I-G, for 10% off your order and never miss a play again. You can find the link in the description of our YouTube videos. And if you go to our LinkedIn also, we have a little link that'll take you straight to their website. And you guys just type in BIG, get 10% off.
Awesome. Link tree, right?
Linktree, yep.
Okay.
Yep. If you go to any of our socials, you should see the little website. Click that. That takes you to the Linktree and all of our stuff that we have.
Okay.
Wyatt,
Awesome.
how was it being on Better and Green, man? We're happy
Dude,
to have
it's
you.
great. It's great. I love the banter back and forth. I think me and Ethan we're too similar sometimes. So it's good to have another voice on here to either agree with us or disagree. So I like the banter. I can talk sports literally all day. I don't know if you kind of figured out the NHL goalies. I kind of BS'd a lot of that. So hopefully I didn't sound like an idiot. But again, when it comes to NHL, I know that the guys that score the puck, I don't really know about the guys who save it. But great time again. March Madness coming up. Can't wait to, keep talking with you guys, getting our bracket picks out there. I'm sure Ethan's all into futures. He probably has some juicy futures on March Madness as well. So just a great time of year. Very exciting. And I believe starting tomorrow, we have college basketball from noon to 11 p.m. pretty much for the next 2 weeks, which is just fantastic. I know, waiting to that 7 p.m. slate is tricky sometimes. So it's nice that we're going to have a lot of college basketball and sports to watch throughout the day. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate this, guys. And I look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Absolutely, man. And Ethan, we are doing our Better and Green March Madness bracket right now. Better and Green TC for Tournament Challenge on the Tournament Challenge app. If you go to that group and the password is BIG, Ethan, what's in store for him?
Yeah, so fill out your bracket once Selection Sunday is officially through, obviously this upcoming Sunday. All subscribers, we invite you to join our bracket, and the winner will get $50. It's completely free to join, free to play. Most people fill out a bracket anyway. You might as well join our group and have a chance to win $50 if you can win the whole thing.
Absolutely. We got another follow just as we're signing off. Shay 9E973, welcome. We're going to be doing this every Monday, 5 o'clock. We give you guys all the plays to win money. Ethan, I don't know if you watched the episode we were talking about this. We haven't had a losing week since like December 13th of last year.
Yeah.
Well, you have worse bets on, so that might screw you up there. But I don't know what else you expected inviting me on there for that. But I'm 6-0. I'm 5-0 in March right now. All green in March.
Boom.
So hopefully I can continue that momentum tonight. Probably not, but
I told you you'd be green in March. I promised you. I do have to say, Wyatt, it is nice having you on the show. Nice to talk to you about sports other than football. Like you said, we are pretty similar and tend to agree on a lot of our football takes. So it was nice to, I guess we agreed on a lot of takes today, but disagreed a little bit on the goalies. So nice to have a little bit of differing thoughts there. But yeah, nice to be back working with you, and can't wait to work with you some more in the future.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, you guys, if you tuned in late, you guys can go back, watch the rest of the live. Go out there and make some money today, guys. It's Better and Green. You listen in and cash out. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next episode. See you later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.